there are consumer networks, and then there are commercial networks. In a consumer world, we have, well, in the country, we have 330 million people all using cellular networks competing for capacity, right? So in that instance, what you need to do is, the expectation is we're going to be able to do more and more things as consumers, and that requires that they have, the carriers provide more capacity to carry these applications. The only way to do that is to move the infrastructure closer and closer to the users, because in the country today, we have fiber optic lines, and that is the backhaul for the internet. It's not wireless, it's all these fiber optic cables. Those cables run up to the cell towers that you see. So you really think you're using wireless technology, but it's this whole system of wireless and wired technology. And the big capacity is in those fiber lines. And it's very costly to bring those that fiber closer and closer. So what they're doing in the wireless world is they build these nodes and bring the fiber closer, but not right to your home. Although on the cable network side, you do see that they're actually bringing fiber to the home. But for industrial customers, it's a challenge to bring these wired connections to your home where you would just use Wi-Fi, right? So if you think about the cable modem world today, you have this high-speed capacity to your home with a cable, and then you get to your home and you put in a Wi-Fi access point, and it's the last couple hundred feet in your home. And you even struggle there, you're adding new access points because the wireless technology, in order to support the capacity, the areas shrink and shrink. They're reusing the frequency. So imagine in an industrial world, you need the ability to cover a very large area with radio frequencies without putting nodes everywhere because it's too expensive. You don't have all these consumers that are paying you a monthly access fee for all these different services. So what you're trying to do is get as much capacity to the edge as you can using frequencies that propagate far. So one of the amazing things about the frequencies we use is we use low band frequencies. What they used to transmit television signals, VHF, very high frequency, UHF, ultra high frequency. So we are repurposing these old frequencies that were used for transmission over huge areas and then making new capacity out of them and making them with an industrial focus. Meanwhile, the carriers are moving their networks to these higher and higher frequencies that don't propagate well. They're in gigahertz frequencies where we are in the megahertz range. And so those gigahertz frequencies, there's more capacity to send more data, but they're very vulnerable to propagation. The waveform, like a microwave oven, is a tiny waveform. If you ever look at a microwave oven, you'll look at the screen in your house and you look on it, there's all these little circles. That's the size of the waveform. And the purpose of those circles is to block the microwaves from exiting the microwave. And you'll just see, hundreds and hundreds of little circles. That stops the waveform from emanating from the microwave oven. The same frequencies you use for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are the same exact frequencies as microwave ovens. And so that's what's happened over time. And because the microwave frequencies transmit only a few hundred feet, and they're limited in power for a variety of reasons. In the same way that a microwave oven heats up your food, it can also heat up a human. So they make it very low power because it basically the waveform stimulates like activity. Water is what a microwave essentially does, is it heats up the cells in whatever you're trying to cook for lunch. Well, the same is true in Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. They're using the same exact frequencies. So if you put a lot of power behind those, it's not good for health purposes. So by nature, it carries a lot of information, but you have to keep the power level low, and the microwave frequencies propagate less well, so it becomes a very localized solution. The VHF and UHF frequencies have a much longer waveform, is not disruptive to cells, and so propagates well, so it's perfect for industrial applications. Okay, sorry.
No, you're good, you're good.
Yep, I leaned
This is
over.
good. This is all really good recap. Really good.
Hopefully that makes, I don't want to be too negative about, your microwave ovens
No,
frying
no,
you,
I
but,
didn't know that about the small dots.
yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, go look at your microwave oven. It's-
Yeah, I was picturing it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember, sometimes you turn on your microwave and your Bluetooth would go bad to your Wi-Fi.
Really?
Same exact frequency.
That makes sense then now.
Right. So now they've done more, what they've done in Bluetooth and Wi-Fi is added more error correction. But error correction leads to less capacity because you get more waveform to work with, but you're correcting for it more because you're worried that the microwave oven is going to interfere. So the way you get around that is you send more and more data and overlapping, which makes it less coverage, so your coverage continues to shrink. So these are the dynamics that happen in a consumer network.
Can you describe to me how these waveforms travel? I know we talked about how they can go long distances and they can even bend around
Right.
terrain.
Right.
Some of them can go through trees.
Right. Well, so there's a variety of techniques, but that's the reason they pick television frequencies is the waveform is long and you can put a lot of content on the waveform, but also correct. So if a portion of the waveform makes it through and another portion is disrupted, a portion gets through. With these higher frequencies, though, all of it gets blocked, absorbed, and so nothing gets through. And that's true of, as you move up into these higher frequencies, even rain disturbs gigahertz frequencies. So even a snowstorm, all sorts of things because the waveform is getting disrupted. In the long waveforms, the way to think about it is maybe not all, if it gets disrupted by terrain or other things, there's enough of the form that gets through to transmit the information.